Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Chris Holt, and today I'm going to take you through my laundry list of things that I hate about my 2010 Chevy Camaro. So just like that, let's go out and let's hear them. Okay guys, here's my car. It is a 2010 Chevy Camaro 1LT. And I love this car. I've had this car for 5 years. Normally it sits in the garage right here, but I just got finished up on some work on the WRX, and so this will then get cleaned up again and get put in there, which I'll do a big detail and cleaning video on this guy here coming up soon. But like, it's super dirty right now. But let's get into the video about the things that I hate about this car. Alright, to start us off, I'm going to start with visibility. Now, everyone says it, but it's true. So the camera right now is about face level. It is an inch from my face, and so that's what you see out of it. You look left, that's what you see out the mirror, and you look right, which you can see the WRX right there. Good looking car. But if you go to turn around to like make a lane change, you just get hit with this pillar right here, and then you want to go to the other side and you get the headrest kind of, and then the massive pillar right there. Now backing up is hard because you can't see anything out of it. Now people will say, oh, it's the ZL1 spoiler and the wicker bill. Well, I purposely designed the wicker bill to be clear, so yeah, it just really doesn't give you much confidence going forwards. So I always back into spots because this car does have parking sensors. Okay guys, my next one is kind of a 2-for-1. Now, it all has to do with the trunk. Now on the trunk here, there's no opening, no catch, nothing to put the key into to unlock. Nothing down here, it doesn't unlock it. Nothing happens there. So how do you open the trunk? Well, there's two options, only two. The first option is right here on the door, this button right here. You push that and it unlocks it. Or you come to your key, I can get it out of my pocket, right here, and there's the unlock, lock, remote start, and then trunk key. So that's the only two ways you can open it. And then when you go to open it, a big complaint that I have is how small this opening is. It's tiny. Now, the trunk itself is pretty big. Yes, I have the pass-through open right now because when I was on my trip, I had it down and I just haven't really changed it since. But the trunk opening right here is really, really small. You can't get like a wheel in here, and yet in the back seats, to access that through the trunk, you have to take this guy off. In the back right there, there's that latch right here, and you put it down and you have tons of space back there. I fit 4 wheels back here and enough stuff to come back from college. So my biggest hate on that is the trunk opening and opening the trunk. Both are a pain. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is kind of the cheap looking interior. Now I have the 1LT package, I don't have the RS, so all of this is in cloth. It just looks kind of cheap, and even the 2LT or RS packages that have the silver on right here looks a lot better in my opinion. Now I like the design of it. You know, this interface right here doesn't bother me as much as it does some owners. It's decently user friendly, it connects to my phone, that's all that matters to me. Now I don't have the RS gauges here, which look awesome, but I do have the cloth seats. Now they're actually really, really comfortable, and I would upgrade these to you know, nicer seats, but they're just so dang comfortable. I did a 5,000 mile road trip in these, driving 13-hour days and up to a 19-hour day, and was not sore the next day. So having a cheap interior with the cloth right here, it just doesn't make the car look too great. Now something else that bothers me on the interior are these sun visors. Now it's kind of hard to tell with the lighting out here, but here's my hand. It's just about 4 or 5 fingers. Alright, so these are tiny right here, and the mirror on them just doesn't do anything. There's no light. There's nothing nice or special about it. So right there I put this tinted strip. It says it's 5%. I don't think it really is 5%. I mean, it was just a cheap eBay and I did it, and it's just really not like that great a quality. But hey, it blocks the sun. It's probably, you know, 50% or something. But yeah, these sun visors right here, they are laughably small, laughably small. Alright guys, so the next thing I want to talk about are these doors right here. You open them up and you realize how long they are. So not only are these long doors, like you have to open it a lot in order to get out. Like that's just 1 foot and there's 2. And if you come back and look at the door, you have to open it quite a lot in order to get it to actually open up like that, or to get out of your car. So since it's such a wide car, you don't realize it, but if you're parking on one of the lines here, you're really close to over here. So you're constantly squishing in and out of your car. It's kind of an issue, but it's something I guess you get used to. Something that I don't like about having a 2-door coupe like this. Alright, so the next stuff comes up under the hood. Now, one thing I get all the time, oh, it's just a V6, it's just a V6. Which, yes, it is just a V6. So everyone's like, why don't you just dump money into a V8? Everyone gets that. All V6 owners do. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you have twin turbos on here, if you have it fully cammed, any of that. You always get, why didn't you just buy a V8? Which is true. For the money that has been spent on this car, you could probably go out and buy a V8. But yeah, it's super dirty. Don't roast me there, but I always get that. Why don't you go out and buy a V8? Now, something else that once you learn these cars, you figure out that you have is a 2010, early 2011 strut tower, or strut tops, I guess. And so with these, they're a lot harder to mount a strut tower brace here. And now the factory GM ones look awesome, if you ask me. I really like the way they look, but you can't get those on the 2010 and early 2011s because they're completely round and don't have a little lip on them for the mounting points. So that's something that sucks about this car. Now, another thing I want to talk about is, yes, I have the SS front bumper. No, I do not have any badges. I don't have anything saying it's an SS because it's not. But I have the grille, and on it comes with this mail slot right here. Now, you'd think, looking at it, that, oh, it's a functional grille right there. But it's not. You look, even going up under the hood latch, there's no airflow here. Now, some people take it out, but the way that this grill piece is mounted looks really ugly, so I'm not taking it off. I know there's a company out there that does like functional mail slots, which would be really, really cool, and something I would look into doing in a little bit, because I have this Ram Air style air intake that feeds air from the upper grill and not the lower. Since I just have the V6 right here, cooling is not really an issue for me. I also live in Seattle. Cooling, not a huge deal, but the fact that this is not a functional scoop right there or grill really makes me mad. Alright guys, the last thing I want to talk about regarding this 3.6 liter LLT V6 engine is I'm constantly changing the oil. Now, why? Because I blew up a motor in here at around 140,000 miles on this car. Now, it might not look like it, I know it's super dirty, but my car actually has 165,000 miles on it. It's super clean on underneath. It doesn't see the winter or anything like that. In fact, this is the longest I've ever had it outside when I was working on that car over there. But as far as this car goes, it drinks oil. Now, it doesn't consume oil or anything like that, but it's just one of those things with the timing chains in the oil. It's something to get changed every 3,000 miles and be good on it. Now, on my 5,000 mile road trip, I didn't change the oil on it. I checked it at every spot, and when I got back it was about half a quart low, which isn't ideal. So I changed it the second I got back, literally within the day or two, and that's a common thing that I don't necessarily like, but everyone should do. Change their oil like every 3,000 miles, no matter what. You will thank me in the long run instead of having to go out and buy a new motor from a new car, a wrecked car, whatever. So change your oil, guys. Alright, so we're getting on to near the end of the list. But one thing I hate is how hard it is to keep this car clean. Now, like I said, I know it's been sitting outside and kind of under a tree. Well, not really, but kind of a tree. And it's super dirty right now. Like, the dirtiest it has ever been. So it doesn't get this dirty, but it's so hard to clean. Like, it's such a big car, you don't realize it, how big of a car this is. Now, I have this car, my big car, and then my daily driver is much smaller. I had my Outback, and this car is actually longer than the Outback and almost like double as wide as it is. It's a massive car and you don't realize it. Now, washing the car and the paint is such a pain on this car. Now, I know it's super dirty, but we're coming in here, and right here is, I don't know if you can quite see it, but the clear coat and paint are coming up on it. Now, it stayed in the garage for just about all the time that I've owned it, but it's one of those things that is a pain on, I feel like, most Chevys at this point. They all have crappy paints. Why? I don't know. Ideally in the future I'd like to get it repainted, but who knows. Now, another thing, the last thing that I want to talk about that I hate is how I've lowered this car 1.7 inches in the front and 1.8 in the rear. With these 19-inch HREs, it lowers it to about 2 inches on both sides right here, which is crazy, but it doesn't look low. Like, having the 19s on here, it doesn't really look too low. You come up to the front here and you get it down and it doesn't look low, and yet I scrape on just about everything because I have the long tube headers. And the thing that sucks on it is that the lowest point is, say, right around here underneath the car. So you go over a speed bump or a driveway, isn't too big of a deal on the front because it does have some clearance, even though it doesn't look low. You go over on the front wheel, and the second you start coming down, if that back wheel doesn't catch, you just scrape and you just hear it, and it's the worst thing ever. So those are the things that I hate about this car, my 2010 Chevy Camaro V6, but I love it way more. So if you guys like it, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. But just like that, let's head upstairs and end this video. So those were my things that I hated about my 2010 Chevy Camaro. Do you guys agree with me? Would this bother you? And if you guys have a 5th gen Camaro, let me know what I left off this list. What bothers you guys? And if you have any other issues with the 5th gen Camaro, let me know in the comments down below. But if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. And keep your eye out for more new content because I post at least 1 new video each week. I try and do 2 or 3 if I can. And just so you know, the things that I love about my 2010 Camaro, that video is coming out here soon too. So stay tuned for that one. And just like that, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.